Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada. And today I want to share with you this pocket card that I shared as part of the International Highlights blog hop today. I've made this card in the past and I just really love the technique so that you use two pieces of cardstock, two pieces of 4¼ by 11" cardstock to create the pocket, and then you have an insert into the pocket for whatever you want to write to who's ever going to receive this card. So I thought I'd share how I made the card today. All of the written instructions and measurements for this card are on my blog, and I will put a link to that blog underneath this video so that you can go out and get the instructions and the written, the instructions and the measurements for the card if you ever want to go back to it in case you missed it during the video. Okay, let me switch over to my desktop. I'll show you the card and then the supplies. Let me make that a little bit bigger. There we go. So this is the card, and you can see, oopsie, maybe a little bit. Oh, there. Okay, you can see that there's a pocket, there's a tab here, and so this piece comes out, and you can write whatever you want to the recipient, and then the pocket is here to insert this into. Isn't this pretty? This is using the Expressions in Ink collection from Stampin' Up! So this is the bundle. Comes with the artistically inked stamp set. I just love this. The sentiments are great. They're kind of versatile, all-purpose sentiments with thanks, happy birthday, best wishes, hello. But the images are just so pretty. This whole collection really is kind of focused on the alcohol ink technique, and you get these wonderful images. I'll show you the designer series paper when you use alcohol, combined alcohol. Now you have to use 99% alcohol with the reinkers or the Stampin' blends, but you get this great technique or great look to it when you combine the two. So that's what these are, just so pretty. And then these dies are amazing. So you get the dies to cut out these images, but you get these other amazing detailed dies. There's one for the leaves, and then this other one with all the kind of the flowers and leaves combined that you can use on your card. And I shared a blog, I guess on Friday, where I used this image and used it as a template, and I sponged and then added heat and stick powder and early espresso, what's going gilded leafing embossing, no, gilded leafing embellishment. Sorry. So if you check my blog from Friday, and there's also a video on my YouTube channel of how I created a card using this as a template and then the gilded leafing. Just such a great. This is my absolute favorite suite in the annual catalog. So let me show you. This is the designer series paper, but the paper I'm using today is this one. Isn't this pretty? It's just so pretty. So this is the alcohol technique. You know, you can see this kind of, it just moves around. The alcohol causes the ink to move around. And on this side, you get these great images, and there is, I don't know if you can see the gold foil embellishment on them. So that's the card the piece I'm going to use today. All right, let me show you how I made the card. So first of all, you need to cut two pieces of cardstock. I'm using pale papaya. Isn't this pretty? Oh my gosh, it is so stunning. I love it. This is one of the new in colors. So you cut two pieces of your cardstock, and it is 4¼ by 11. And you're going to score both of these at 5½. Score. Okay, so then what you want to do on both of these, you're going to insert it into your trimmer, and you want to cut from this 5½" score line down to the point. And I know you can't see that. There we go. Okay, so you want to insert this into your trimmer so that you've got this score line and this point in the track of your trimmer. And then you're going to cut. So you're going to end up with a piece that looks like this. So you've got the score line. And we're going to do the same on this. So again, put the mark of the score line in the track of your trimmer and the point in that track, and then cut. So you now, I'm going to need this. Okay, so you now have two pieces, and when you adhere them together, you're going to adhere these two pieces together. You end up with, and fold on these score lines, you end up with your pocket. So this will be adhered together, and now you've got your pocket. So now we're going to decorate this. Now the other piece that I have is a piece of designer series paper that is cut 4 inches by 5 1/4, and you're going to do the same with this one. You're going to actually cut this in half on the diagonal. So if you put your piece in your trimmer, put the 2 points in the track. You can draw a line if you prefer to do this, but if you put both of those points in the track and then cut from corner to corner, you end up with the 2 pieces that you need. Okay, so I'm done with my trimmer. So you want to decorate this. You can decorate it before you put it together. I'm just going to grab my bone folder. I want to give this a really good crease on the score line. Same with this one. If you don't have a bone folder, you can use your nail, but the bone folder does work best. Okay, so then what we're going to do is, I use tear and tape adhesive for this. So I'm going to put tear and tape adhesive. I just find that you need a little bit of added strength to this so that it doesn't come apart. So I'm going to put my tear and tape adhesive on the top and bottom and use my take your pick tool to get the backing off, maybe. All right. Just take my nail, rub along to it, rub on it so that it sticks, and then hopefully, there we go, get the point of your take your pick tool underneath, but not picking up the adhesive, just trying to pick up there we go, the backing. Okay, so now you can take, and you just want to, you're gonna butt that up to the folds and align it to the bottom edge like that. So now that forms your card base. I need to trim this a little bit, I'm not sure why. All right, I'm just going to put this in my trimmer. I've got a little bit of an edge sticking out there. There we go. Just trim that little bit off. Okay, so now I've got my card base. So you can now, these pieces that we cut from the designer series paper are going to go on these 2 flaps. You can, if you want to use the same paper on the flaps, so you will have to cut 2 pieces at 4 inches by 5 1/4, because you need to turn one of them over to fit the shape of it. So I want this one with the really pretty flowers to show. So whichever one you want to show the most, that will be the flap that goes on top. So I'm gonna just use some Stampin' Seal to, you can use some tear and tape adhesive, you can use your multi-purpose adhesive glue if you want. whatever works. I'm just going to adhere it like that, and then the same with this. So this piece goes on the other flap. Oopsie. Trying to get, this is where the multi-purpose adhesive glue will give you a little bit more wiggle room and allow you some time to align your piece up. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so now you've got your card front decorated. Again, I'm going to use, so now we want to actually adhere it together. I'm going to use tear and tape adhesive, and I'm going to put it on here. And I'm not going to go all the way over to the point. So remember, you want to stick down the piece that you want to be underneath first. I've done that before, and when you open it up and you think, oh, that's not the piece that I wanted to show, but it's all pretty. So, okay, so you're just going to put that down like that. And then on this piece, we're going to do the same. We're going to put tear and tape adhesive down along this bottom piece. By putting it on the flap itself, what I found is because you have a point here, I did put it on here one time, and then of course you've got, it sticks out. I had it too much, and so by putting it onto the flap itself, you know how close to that point to go with your adhesive. I had to use my adhesive eraser to pull it off. Okay, so now, so I don't bother to adhere this. You could put some adhesive in here if you want, but I actually find by just adhering the bottom, it doesn't really need to have adhesive in other places. Okay, so I've got some extra of those. Now the next thing you want to do, and I just realized that I need to get some basic white cardstock because I forgot the insert for the cards. So I will just grab a piece of that. I have to cut it. Oopsie. Okay, so we're going to make the belly band first anyway. So I've got a piece, what have I got here? I've cut a piece of pale papaya, and this piece is 1 inch by 11 inches. And I think that should give me enough. Yeah, so I'm gonna just wrap it around. You don't need it really tight. And in fact, if you want to remove your belly band, you don't want this to be really tight. So I don't usually score. I just take and wrap it around and then kind of finger press. And it's not quite long enough, but that's okay because my flowers are going to, and my sentiment label are going to cover that. So we will attach this together by using the label. So we've got that part of our belly band. Now I've got 2 pieces of basic white cardstock that I'm going to do some stamping on. So first of all, I'm going to stamp a flower. Of course, I forgot my blocks. Dropped it. Sorry about that. I always seem to forget something when I'm doing these videos. Okay, so I'm going to pull off this flower and the leaves and the thanks. Okay, so I'm going to do the flower in pale papaya. And I'm going to do the leaves in old olive. That. And I'm going to do the sentiment on this piece in old olive as well. Oops, like that. Okay. Now I'm just going to bring in my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine that is here. Things are falling down all over the place. All right, here we go. And now I'm going to cut these out using the dies. So that will be for that, that will be for that. Okay, so there's the leaves. I may have to, no, I can do these all at once. Okay, so that's good. So just line up. That's like that. Okay. That's that. Now this piece that is my sentiment, I'm going to use, these are the amazing scalloped contours dies. And I just love this. This goes with the color and contour, but these scalloped rectangle dies are amazing. They kind of become my go-to. And I'm going to use the second smallest, and I'm just going to cut that out, the thanks out. I'm going to put it a little off to one end because I want to leave a little bit of room to adhere my flower to. So. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you're going to love these scallop contour dies. Oh gosh. They all have slightly different, so this one's actually got cutouts. Some of the other ones have dots or some fairly big stitching, little tiny dotted stitching, and then this one, which I can see I need to clean out with all the pink, has actually open scallops, little holes in the scallops. They're great. Okay, that's that. Finished with that. Okay, so let's bring in my belly band again. So I'm going to adhere this on, and I'm going to use dimensionals. Now I'm going to put the dimensionals right onto the belly band. That way I make sure that I don't go too high or too low and attach it to the card base itself. So we'll just put it on either side of the belly band. Hold that in place and then attach it. So you can see, even though my belly band was just a little bit short, I was able to seam it, stitch it together using the dimensionals and the label. Okay, so now I've got my leaves and my flower. And I've also got, so the other part of the collection is I've got these in, oops, are these amazing. This is called the Expressions in Ink Ephemera, and it comes with these great adhesive backed sequins that are iridescent. And then all of these, now I've taken them off the sheets. You don't have to do this, but I just find it easier to have them when they're off the sheets. So it comes with all of these little tiny leaves and sprigs that you can use on your card, as well as these great labels that pull apart. So there are, when you pull these apart, you end up with a piece that looks like this, but you also end up with, there's a sprig inside of this one. These pull apart, so you can then take the sprig apart if you wanted to use. Don't throw these away. So if you wanted to use this, for example, even though it's got the whole, maybe you can see that better. It's got the sprig outline in it. You could actually cover that up and just have the gold. So don't throw these away. Even these little pieces between the holes, the the gaps that you're going to pull apart so that you get this really dainty label piece. Don't throw these little pieces away because they're great to be using. Ephemera is just about having little pieces to adhere. If you've ever done mixed media, ephemera is old stamps and little pieces of paper that you attach, and that's what this is. So it's really a great technique. I'm just going to use a couple of the leaves and sprigs. Oops. Okay. So I'm going to grab my glue dots and I'm going to put my leaves on the back of this with a glue dot, as well as my ephemera. And they've got one side is gold and one side is white, so you can actually mix and match. And you can color the white side if you wanted to. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to, there's my leaf here. I'm just going to tuck this behind like that, there. Okay. And I should have put this over a little bit, but I still got room here, so I'm going to put that, and I'm going to attach it with a couple of dimensionals, I think, right onto this, the label. Like that. Okay, so now that's the card base. So now I'm going to just grab my trimmer again. Now this piece of this piece of basic white that goes inside, let me just give you the measurement because it is not a standard, you know, what you'd typically put. So it is 5 1/4, but it's a little shorter by 3 3/4. So I'm going to cut this. So 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. And the reason it's just a little bit shorter is that you attached the bottom using the tear and tape adhesive, and so therefore it's taken up some of the space. So I'm going to use my pale papaya, and I need a bigger block, which of course I forgot to. I will be right back with the block that fits this. Okay, all right, so this is the really large kind of splotch of color, and I'm going to put this at the top like that. So that's what we'll show. I'm not going to put any sentiment on this because I've already stamped my thanks on my label. Now I have a piece here that is now I've got it about 3 1/4 by 1/2 inch, and I'm going to fold it in half. This is going to be my tab that will allow whoever gets this to be able to pull the piece out, and we're just going to adhere it onto there. So I'm just going to use, I think I'm going to put some Stampin' Seal on both sides of this. And we'll just kind of position it where we want it there. I'm going to have it sticking out about maybe 1/2 inch. You can, I think my other one was even 1/4 inch, but so that just gives, and you can put it on either side. I don't know why I put it on the left-hand side, but that just gives you a tab to be able to pull this easily out. Now, isn't that pretty? Just such a pretty card. And then this is the one that I shared. So on this one, I use the pale papaya, but with this paper, I've got the other side of it is shaded spruce. And so I've used the shaded spruce, and I think Melon Mambo as my color for my flower. But so you can do all sorts of things. You can switch it up and use even different, certainly different designer series paper. But this is just a great pocket card. You can make them portrait as well, but this one is landscape. Okay, so let me just switch back over. So I hope you enjoyed that. I just absolutely love this Expressions in Ink. So I hope you'll try out the pocket card. If you have any questions when you're making it, just leave me a comment either here on my video or on my blog. If it's the first time you're here visiting my YouTube channel, please subscribe so you get notified when I post other videos. Also, yeah, leave a comment. I love to get comments. You can also subscribe to my blog so that you get notified when I do blog posting, which I do on a regular basis. And all of my blogs, for the most part, have the written instructions in them. So you can always leave a comment. If you don't have a demonstrator in Canada, I'd love for you to check out my blog and my online store. Yeah, thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye, everybody. Happy stamping.